Here with Jason Wojo in the Otter Studios. I'm pumped because Jason here runs a very large ads agency. He is an expert in all platforms, digital advertising, paid ads, specifically for lead generation, which is what we do in our company. Generate leads for ourselves to close new PR sales. So first I want to thank you for coming here,
Yeah, of
Jason.
course.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Welcome.
having me.
And some topics that I really want to touch on for the audience during this episode. I'd love to go through all of the different ad platforms and how people can best utilize them for lead generation for their coaching, consulting, agency, anything B2B for lead gen. What are some tricks and hacks that they might be missing? I'd love to talk about analytics, some of the tools that we were just discussing pre-episode that I think people are going to get a lot of value out of. I think that's where a lot of people drop the ball, and if they implement this one tool, that could change everything. And then 3, what we were just talking about, which is how to actually get those leads on your calendar. What is the balance, the recipe for getting them to show up? With that being said, Jason,
Yeah, what's going on?
welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. So might as well hop right in number one. Um, for anybody out there who is currently trying to run ads and they're kind of stuck on how to use all the platforms and what platform they should be touching first, the biggest thing I always say is to always prove your concept on Facebook and IG first. If your offer can convert on Facebook and IG, then odds are it's not going to convert in other places with predictability. Because I look at advertising as like an omnipresent circle.
Yep.
So if you're running Facebook and Instagram and you're converting there and you're getting good leads and you're getting, decent show rates, 55, 60%, 65, after that has been solidified, you know what your predictable cost per call or cost per qualified call should be. Then you would move to TikTok and then YouTube and Google. The thing that I always did, and I still do, is I spend about 60% of my budget on Facebook and IG because that's all your like front end traffic.
Right. Cold traffic, they don't know about you. You're showing them who you are.
Yeah. And also it's a lot more underpriced. It's more native to the platform. People are so used to seeing Facebook and IG ads as like that top of funnel piece. Bottom of funnel and middle of funnel are the two other pieces. So middle of funnel, I'll spend another like 25%-ish of the ad budget, and that's on TikTok and YouTube. So TikTok and YouTube will work together to basically take any retargeting from Facebook and IG and funnel it down, and I'll retarget them there. I'm also retargeting on Facebook and IG too, but those two platforms help.
Interesting. So you're only retargeting on TikTok and YouTube. You're not running any cold traffic from those platforms.
I'll only run a small amount once I've predictably like made the funnel.
Yep.
Because once this thing's working, then I can say, okay, well, you know what? TikTok and YouTube can now have their own funnel.
Right. I love
So I can run top of funnel.
a stepwise approach to how to approach advertising. Because a lot of people want to jump into all of it at once.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to be a huge mistake. Because each platform is pretty unique too, right? You need to tailor the creative, you need to tailor the targeting, the audience. And for example, we only do retargeting on LinkedIn right now because it's so expensive to acquire new leads. So it's good. Let's put together that roadmap for, say, an agency, a young agency who wants to start running paid ads. Mm-hmm. You start with Facebook and Instagram. Maybe you run a big split test on there and you find something that works. What's the next thing on your roadmap?
Next thing, first off, I'm dialing in the offer.
Yep.
Because if the offer is not dialed in, then you're kind of just only depending on creative. And people creative is really important and great, but if no one wants what you're offering, then you can't really test creatives then. So I go offer because the offer will dictate really how good your business is. Like if you have a good offer, but a really mediocre creative, all you have to do is either get better creatives. You can hire a media agency for that. And then you take the offer and put it into better creatives, which means that you'll lower your cost per clicks and your CTRs.
Yes.
And then that funnels more people down.
So the first thing that you do, split test the offer.
Yeah.
Come up with a really good offer.
Also an offer that you can fulfill on. Because some people make really bold offers and they don't
'em.
realize the back end.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, there's no way that the person's going to be around in 30 days.
Right.
Very bold offers I see.
Can you give me an example of a quality offer that you've seen work on Facebook? Like what should people be thinking about as an example?
So one that I'm running right now is crushing any okay, so it's not because it's just mine, but I've tested so many different offers.
Yeah.
And there's one I'm running right now where I'm basically in the ad, I'm like, would you trade $10 for 1 million views in your business in 60 days? And I'm giving them 60 scripts of organic videos that they can basically use as hooks to get more organic views. Regardless what niche you are in a coach, consultant, or service provider, if they grab those scripts and post for 60 days and they don't get 1 million views in 60 days, I'm like, okay, I'll give you $100 back for wasting your time and the $10 back.
Yeah.
and I'm getting people in that, and my cost per purchase is so low. It's a good offer, really short to the point landing page. Um, Other good offers I've seen
What are
are
you charging for that offer?
it's only $10. And then on the back
Beautiful.
end, so it's $10 and there's upsells because I got to get
Right,
my
you're getting them to
AOV
pull
up.
out their credit card,
Yeah.
which is another thing a lot of people miss. Right, you don't have to go for the $10,000 conversion on Facebook.
Yeah.
But if you can get them to whip out their credit card, spend $10, then you can upsell. Then you
Oh
can have
yeah.
your sales team
And then
jump
as soon
in.
as they become a buyer, we wait. Like the sweet spot is we wait like 17 minutes. We
Yep.
let them finish the funnel. We wait 17 minutes. An appointment setter calls, sets an appointment.
Yep.
And those are more qualified people. And then there's upsells to boost AOV because I'm selling a $10 offer, but I'm spending $31 to get a customer. But my AOV is $28,
Mhm.
which I need to get higher. It's not completely fulfilled yet, but that means everything above that is what I'm spending on a book call. And if every 1 out of 10 people book a call, that's $30 a book call. That's really good if I'm selling high ticket on the back end because I'm using
Yes.
the low ticket to not just get purchases, but there's also 2 things that I'm doing. Number 1 is I'm building my email list for basically free.
Yes.
And then number 2 is when they're on the sales call, we already have their card number on file. There's no more money objection. So it's like, hey, you want to move forward? All right, cool. I have your card on file that you spent the $10 on. Do you want to use the same card?
Yep. And buyers buy. You've identified
Yeah.
the one willing to pull out their credit card for 10. Those are the same people who are going to pull out their credit card for 1,000, 10,000.
Mhm.
Obviously, you're going to have drop off as you get a little bit higher in those numbers, but very smart. Definitely
Yeah.
something people need to consider.
And then
What can your low ticket offer be?
low ticket offers have to be something that teases the high ticket result that you want to sell in the back end. So like, for example, right, if I'm an SEO agency, we have a client who sells a low ticket and it's like, hey, here's these 5 fill in the blank blog posts that you can post to start getting a higher Google ranking.
Mhm.
And then in the back end, their offer is, hey, we'll get you on the first page of Google in 4 to 6 months. If we don't, we'll give you a full refund and $5,000 for wasting your time. It's a bold offer.
Bold.
Very bold.
How do you feel about offers like that? Because I see them all the time.
I hear him, like, his name's Lee, and he told me about the offer, and I was like, dude, this is bold. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to, like, lose you as a client because we're going to start running ads this. And by the way, it gets a crap ton of opt-ins because
bet.
it's so good of an offer, but I'm like, you might be appealing to the wrong people.
Right.
So we have to wean them out with an appointment setter. So if they're booking calls, appointment setter calls them. It's like, hey, listen, like this is really expensive. Like, don't just do this because of the guarantee. We're doing this because we can fulfill and we want to work with long-term businesses and we just try to find out if they're established or not.
You ever seen a lot of people act on that guarantee? Like, oh, you didn't hit the result. I want $5,000. How common is that?
I think he told me like maybe 1 out of every like 50 has asked,
Right.
which is with the price point being $4,500 a month that he's selling it for. It's like if they stay for 6 months,
It makes sense financially.
one person, it's like it's not bad. 1 out of every 50,
It's not bad.
especially if your costs in the back end aren't that high and fulfillment streamlined. That's actually not terrible.
Yeah, he gives them all their money back and they pays them
Yeah.
$5,000. Crazy. But you know what? If it gets all those opt-ins and it's the reason that he's booking all of those calls,
Yeah.
it's a calculated decision that I think you need to make as the business owner.
Yeah, there's
Very
like
cool.
sometimes where clients will bring me things like, "Oh, like I can do this in 30 days." I'm like, "I don't think you can."
Right.
That seems like credit repair is another big niche that we're in,
Yep.
which is a lot of compliance in it. But sometimes they're like, "Hey, like we'll increase your score by 100 points in 30 days." I'm like, I don't really know if that's going to work out for us. We have to be a little bit more like conservative. Like let's say like 50 points in 30 days.
Yeah. So,
Because like what if the bureaus don't get back to us in time? Like I don't want to be the one running ads for this and my name's on it.
so you want to put together an offer that's both possible for you to actually execute on,
Mhm.
but gets the clicks because it's like, oh man, that's good. Time frame and money back, you think is a key component for putting together that offer. We'll do it
Yeah.
in X amount of days, and if we don't, we'll give you X amount back.
Yeah, because people want to know an expectation.
Yeah.
Even though like a lot of people in the online space set their own unrealistic expectations sometimes,
Yeah.
it's still good to give them some type of like, hey, like you can expect X result in X amount of days and results may vary. If you add results may vary, you actually get higher conversions. I've seen that a lot is like I put that on my landers, like results may vary because some people they're so used to hearing bold claims.
Right. There's
And then
skeptical.
and then you come around and you're like a real human, you're like, listen, like results may vary.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, not an internet guru anymore, not an internet marketer. And they just believe you more.
I know when I see offers like that, I am an internet marketer, so my alarm bell goes off.
Mhm.
I wonder what percentage of people who are seeing that ad who are qualified and their alarm bells are going off. and they don't book, they don't purchase for that reason because they've seen that offer structure so many times. But it seems to still be working. It seems to be the common practice.
Yeah. But
So
there's still a lot more objections on the back end. Like
yeah,
salespeople wise, yeah, you'll get them on the phone, but they're still having this hint of like hesitance.
yeah.
It's like, is this actually going to work? Like, is this actually worth the money? Like, I just saw another ad last night for something else just like this. It confuses them.
100%.
So,
All right, let's work our way down the roadmap. Facebook and Instagram, you've dialed in the offer. You're generating leads. You've done the calculations, and it is worth it for you to expand past that point. What's the next thing that you will implement?
so the next thing, I mean, once traffic sources are clicking,
Yep.
the next thing I look at is actually two things kind of in combination are my sales process, my landing page, and then my show rates.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll look at those three in conjunction because if I can maybe, let's say, right, you're spending $100 a book call and you're running into a VSL and they're watching a video up to 15 minutes and the CTA is at 20 minutes and you're getting the book a call. What if I just spent an extra 25 to 30 bucks a call and I just extended that until the button pops up below? Is that 25 to $30 extra in lead costs worth it? And then I look at my show rates like, okay, at this current cost per book call, are my show rates over 60? Because that's kind of a benchmark. Like if your show rates are below 50%, that usually means that either number one, you're not reminding people enough, or number two is they're just not that excited about hopping on the phone. It's not a top priority for them, and you're not solving a massive problem at scale.
Right.
So I'll look at those things. Landing page conversion rates are really important because what if I just added one thing to the lander or a couple more pieces of social proof or added more to my FAQs?
It's funny, all the nitty-gritty stuff that a lot of entrepreneurs don't do, get into the CRO and the landing pages, calculate their show rates, maybe even ask people why they didn't show up. Whether it's you're not offering enough value or you're not reminding somebody enough, or maybe the Google update, it wasn't on my calendar, sorry. There's so many little parts to getting this right that a lot of people miss. What do you advise people to do that are listening to you and they're like, that sounds like a lot of work. That sounds really complicated. Show rates, percentages, landing pages, follow-up sequences.
Yeah, I mean, if it's boring, so this is the thing I'll always say is that making money is boring and numbers are boring. Ever since we were children and we went to school, a lot of us did not like school, who are entrepreneurs, who are purebred entrepreneurs. We hated school. So for us to look at numbers sometimes, like, yeah, we want to make money, we want to build an empire, but it sometimes bores us. And the honest truth is that you really can't scale. I mean, this is my opinion, but you can't really scale until you prove the concept yourself.
Yeah.
Because then you can pass it off to other people, and that's what you call SOPs, and you're building systems. Because when I was running it on my own, I was running the ads and taking the sales calls. So when I wanted to scale, and if you want to go past 6 figures a month, you have to have other people on your team. You can't do that on your own. Maybe you could if you're selling like really high ticket, a solopreneur coach. But
one thing I found really hard as an entrepreneur to delegate or to hire for is a lot of that nitty gritty. You're going to come in and figure out the analytics on all of our ads, what's working, what's not. You're going to come in and you're going to split test all our landing pages. Those have been difficult things for me to outsource. Do you have any advice for me on who to find, who to hire, what to hire for? Like, are any of those things even possible to bring someone in for?
I mean, as far as like the landing pages and conversion rates, I feel like the first thing would be talking to somebody who's like a copywriter. Finding a copywriter who's like very high level, not break the bank, but like find a copywriter who's written offers in your niche and just let them look at like your messaging, your copy, your infatuation, stuff like that. That would make the most sense, excuse me. And then the second thing after that would be, okay, well, now that I have really good copy and I have a really good offer, what are other people running in the space? Now, not to copy and swipe. You are looking for inspiration because if someone else in your space is spending a couple $1,000s a day on Facebook, odds are it is working. So look at what they are doing. You can reverse engineer small things. Like there's things that I'll take. For example, I found another offer that was running scripts. And underneath the button, it says, cannot find on ChatGPT. And I'm like, dude, that is genius to put underneath the button. So I put underneath my button and it hiked my conversion rate up like 3% just from adding that one thing underneath the button.
Yeah.
And I was like, that small message. It's like, I always look at other people's landing pages and I'm like, I'm split testing. I'm always doing that. Also, I think when you're trying to prove the concept yourself, if you're massively addicted to it, it actually becomes really fun.
Yeah.
And I turn it into an actual like video series. So I did a whole YouTube series last year where I took a whole ecom business from zero and took it to 152K in like 3 weeks. And I did it all from scratch and I recorded it for 4 weeks straight. It was like a whole documentary and it's on YouTube. I'm doing the same thing with the low ticket funnel right now. So I'm on like day 15. I've been recording a video every day,
Hmm.
and it's keeping my genius alive. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs delegate too much to
Yes.
where they lose their genius. And if that's something that you want to figure out, the landing pages, conversion rates, yeah, you can hire out and get a freelancer, but still be indulged in it to keep your genius.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the marketing, the high level stuff, is the last thing that you should ever hire out for. I don't think anyone's going to be as good as you ever at delivering your offer and doing
Yeah,
what essentially what you sell.
yeah, because you know the messaging, you know what people want to hear.
100%.